Okay, welcome back. I've been working on this. This is currently Sunday morning. This Thursday morning, I leave for Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's about an 8.5 hour trip. Not going to be setting any speed records because, well, hey, it's a 1990 Celica. And yeah, I drive this down there. I drove the white one down last year. I'm comfortable with cars that have a little bit of age to them, as long as they're maintained. And half the adventure of one of these cars to me is the journey with something that is old enough to have kids and a mortgage. But so I just want to kind of go through and show you a couple things. I was going to pull it out here, but it's starting to rain, and beauty shot of the 4Runner. My dad had this really good line. He had a lot of good lines, but the one bit of advice one time is don't snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. And it was like, kind of quit while you're ahead. And I think I'm at that point with this car right now. I was looking, and sometimes you just have to, I spent 4 hours yesterday on this car detailing things. You take my word for it. Underneath here is fully detailed. I had never done that, so I detailed it. I detailed all in here, and I detailed the firewall really well, and all the associated brackets that I hadn't gotten, that I thought I got. Because what happens with these vehicles is, and that was 4 hours worth of stuff, and I probably am going to clean up the plug wires again because they got a little dirty from driving this vehicle since October. I haven't driven it much, but rain and whatever. And so anyway, I'll probably do that because that really will, if you see it, a little bit of gunk and everything. And you don't want to call attention to something you don't need to. That in mind, I got some really good advice from one of the judges last year. It was not in my category, but he told me, he's like, hey, he goes, one thing you want to know, because I had my lights up and I was cleaning on the white Celica, and he said, if those lights aren't right, leave them down. We won't ask you to put them up. We assume that they're correct. So I'm like, okay, cool. But I knew those were correct. And I was like, oh, these are correct. However, Wagner halogen, okay. Sylvania halogen. I think this is the original one, and I think the Wagner was a replacement. So I'll leave those down. I was thinking about pirating a set off the 92. But then if a bolt snaps, this is where, cut it out. Case in point, right here. Okay, so you see there's something missing here? Yeah, that's my retention thing. So it would bolt here, it would go in here, there's a bracket that comes up, you bolt in, and it would bolt in here. Now, I had the original one, and it was corroded for battery corrosion on both pieces that held it in place at the tops of the battery. So I couldn't find one, and the shop that did a little bit of detailing work, the wiper arms and things like that, and cleaned up the paint for me, like, good paint correction, he fabricated one for me. And I bought a used one, a really nice used one from Uzbekistan. You might, if you've seen these videos, you heard me talking about this, saying it was $30 for the part, and like $90 to ship it here. And I'm sure it took like 4 months because I'm sure it had to go through all kind of interesting customs. And I took this one off, and I was going to put the other one on. And that was last Saturday, not yesterday, but a week ago yesterday. And when I was doing it, the original bolts that they reused into this they built new brackets here, used my original thing, spot welded it, and it looked good. But a trained eye would tell that it wasn't right. And would people catch it? Well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't see it in Hershey, but that doesn't matter. I mean, it's something that I want to make sure is correct. So I took this off, and the bolt that they had, from the original bracket, snapped when I unbolted it here to take it out. I'm like, well, no big deal. I got the correct one that had the bolts, spot welded in. However, I found out that in Uzbekistan, or wherever this car originally was from, the battery was narrower. This piece was correct, and the two brackets were correct, except they were like here instead of here. They were welded in for a narrower battery on across. So what do? I can't use the one that they put together, and I can't use the one I bought. Now, I have a 92 Celica and a 93 Celica. I went up, so they didn't have to have this car up there while they figure out what they're going to do with they're going to combine the parts on the new one, or new to me one, and the original one. And I also took them the correct one from the 92. So the plan is right now, they've had it since Thursday. If they can't get to it, and it's a shop that's doing my Pontiac 6000 for me. They're also doing some minor refreshing on the 89 Camry of mine. They're going to be doing some other work for me, but it's a shop that they just can't drop everything. They're basically, they work on newer cars, so they're very kind to do these. So if they can't get it done, I will go up and pop the free the 92's bracket for the trip down and get it taken care of. But that's where, like, my whole point is, don't go try to switch out the lights and then you really have a problem if it's, a bolt breaks off in there. And there's been a few bolts that have broken off in this car. That's where the age of this car. And this car saw some driving. I mean, it's good, but it's not perfect. It's a very good survivor car. So the least amount of removing bolts, the better. That also led to, this is mandatory that you have to have this on. This is the junior plaque. And then there's a senior plaque that would go on top of that, like an underlay, but it has to be permanently affixed to the vehicle. Well, the other vehicles have front plates. This one did, but it's the bolt snapped when I went to change the plate out on it. See where I'm going with this? But I had it redone because I liked the look of this car without the front plates. The other two have their front plates, and I don't mind it because I can put the brackets on, I can put the vintage plate on it, and the real reissued or Pennsylvania accepted plate on the back. This one, I wasn't going to go back and have them drill into that. I just didn't want to. So looked around and found that, and that works. So I spent a lot of time here underneath, and this was clean before, but it's cleaner. I went through and worked on that. Told you I removed this, I moved the tray, and cleaned it up, and did a little bit of the black metal, like this, painted metal. Had a couple bubbles on it, nothing major. So I cleaned it up, scrubbed it down. The original, all the painted area, the structure of it's fine, but this bolt-on tray for the battery, and then there's a plastic tray on top of that that's removable. Cleaned all that up and put a little bit of rust reformer after I cleaned everything off on there. So, this vehicle, you can spend 4 hours doing not a heck of a lot of stuff, but it is a heck of a lot of stuff because it's something that when I get down there, I'm going to go through the day before, wipe everything down, clean it up, make it look real pretty, and get it ready. Then, but that's not the time to be pulling out the battery bracket, touching up, and grabbing your rust encapsulator to get a spot that didn't look right. There's no need to. but if you get all this taken care of, and I think I'm at that point. I thought it was at that point 6 months ago when I took this out and won that, and I did. But you talk about like overthinking, you talk about keep going back and looking, but to me, like, I need to do something with these cars in between to say, okay, well, I'm going to step it up a little bit or look for something, because the next time someone might fixate on something, and that's their job. They're judging this car. So we're going to get on the other concern I have. It's 70 degrees today. The AC unit on this vehicle. I replaced the evaporator, condenser, a couple interior, like, you know, under the dash lines and things like that. And it worked really well last summer. Went to start it this year, turned on the AC, and it was not working. It was no coolant in it. I took it up there to the shop that does all my work on the vehicle, and they're like, yeah, well, we think we know where it's at. They checked all the stuff that had already been done on it, and it was fine. It was no dye, anything like that. They're focusing on here. So the plan is, with this, to do nothing for the short term. So if I'm lucky and I win the senior on here, that makes this vehicle eligible for the Grand Nationals, where the white 93 Celica is already booked to go, or going to be. If that's the case, I'll trailer this one out. I'll drive the white one out, and not have to worry about being cool and comfortable. Now I'm taking my son with me, and the fun part of this is that I had to tell him, you can stay home with grandma for a couple days, or you can go with me, and I may or may not have AC. They're gonna charge it up, try to get me patched through down there. But again, he's like, you could put it in there yourself. And I'm like, I don't, if it's warm and raining, it'll be a little fun, but you know what, so be it. I drove a car without air conditioning for the first 8 years I drove a vehicle, which is kind of foreign to anyone today, but it's kind of is what it is. So if it's a nice sunny day, roof open, windows cracked, and have fun. So either way, and my son, by the way, said he agrees. He's going one way or the other. He said, I'll be comfortable. Like, you may not be comfortable, but anyway. So we're going to be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway on Friday and Saturday. So the Saturday is the Antique Automobile Club of America show. Friday, I just heard back. I sent a message to the Radwood people, and they said they are doing the show Friday and Saturday, so I could buy a ticket, and it's good for both days. But I would put this car in the show on Friday, and then also, then show it at the AACA on Saturday. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll take my kit with me, and I'll go polishing up on this for the next day for under hood. And while I'm sitting there, just enjoying all the other cars, I'm gonna have the hood up. It can be cleaning everything up just a little bit, because remember, I'm driving this down. If it rains, I'd have to clean it up. So be it. That's the fun of this. That's the fun of no trailer car showing. And my trailer that I have for like the Chrysler and maybe the Bronco and probably the 6000 STE is a flatbed, no enclosure, is what it is. I have a pickup I can borrow. I'm not buying a pickup anytime soon. I got a rule with these things. I got daily driver, and I have the absurd, oh my God, why did I do this? But I love it, Corvette daily driver. Those two for insurance is, oh my goodness. And it's way more combined for those two than it is for this, and it's 8 siblings. Yeah, I have 8 antique cars that are insured. I have a few more that currently are not. But that's why, if I had to insure these at the rate I insure that and the Corvette, I wouldn't have them because it's just the opportunity cost is just ridiculous. And I would be spending money that these aren't really outrageous expenditures. They can be, but if you buy them right, they can't. This car, I don't know, I have like 13,000 in it, maybe total. I could definitely break even. I could definitely make some money. But that's not the point. These aren't investments. These are enjoyment things. These are things to go spend time, to meet people, to have fun, to, just experience life. And if you get into one of these, if you buy it right, it's like anything, real estate, whatever. You buy something right, you're always gonna be okay because but buy something as complete as you can. Buy something you really love. Don't buy something, well, I kind of like that car. Well, if you kind of like that, you're gonna kind of not if you see the one that you want and it becomes available. It's okay to say no. It's and then when you find them, get them. If everything works out right, you get it inspected, it looks good, and you're happy with it, don't have buyer's remorse. Get it tested, make sure you're okay, and you understand that it's gonna have some flaws, it's gonna have some things. If it doesn't have rust or anything like that, and the interior is complete and those kind of things, then you can do a little bit of sweat equity in this vehicle and whatever you're comfortable with, And so, like I said, it's not for sale. It'll never be for sale. But I mean, if it was, I dare say, I could probably get a nice return on this car. But that's, like I said, it's not what it's about. It's about a car that I wanted in 1990 when I was, 20 years old. And here it is. Yeah, I'm 55. But, you don't have to spend, and that's not a minuscule amount of money. I'm not trying to say that, but it's not $100,000 show car. It's not something that's, oh my goodness. And if you go to the AACA shows, it's amazing. Like Hershey, especially. Charlotte's smaller, but there's also the auto fair going on. So there's cool stuff there. But if you go to like the AACA show and there's over 1,000 vehicles, and this is probably the cheapest realm, this is on the cheaper end of the bell curve, but they're all so much fun. And you're out there, you're participating, you're having a good time. And you have conversations with people like, I had one of these, or I wanted one of these. And so I guess if you watch these kind of videos and you're thinking about getting involved with them, there's good stuff out there. Just know what you want. Don't be someone who's like, well, I could have this or this. And if you are, that's fine. But if there's something, if you write down a list, if you could have 5 cars and you look around, like what would be those cars? That's what you want to look at. And you want to honestly get something that you could comfortably, reliably drive. And that's what this is. It's not going to be comfortable if the AC doesn't work and it's 80 degrees. But you get it. I mean, the confidence of, hey, you know what? This is going to get me there. Those 5 speeds are going to be fine. Clutch is good. Engine's good. I've gone through mechanically everything on this vehicle, had it done, and, it's a good car. And it's fun getting involved. And, well, so when I am on the road, I'll do a little video log of me driving down. I'll do one Friday at the Radwood show and the auto fair. And I'm gonna do one Saturday. And am I nervous? Yeah, a little anxious. I feel a lot better after 4 hours yesterday. But you never know. The lights will be down, by the way. So, if you want to see the pop-ups after it's been judged, I will happily do that, but not while it's being judged, because points is points. And I'm going against a 400-point scale. I believe 400 points, yeah. And every deduction, that's why there's a Toyota branded battery on there. That's why the bracket will be the right bracket, not a put together one that works, but the right one. And as much as you can preserve on the writing of these things, and you know, clean and nice and as good as you can get. So anyway, thank you for watching. That was supposed to be a really quick video, but it was 20 minutes, so I can talk. Anyway, have a great day. See you in Charlotte if you end up going down there. Take care.